Last time we did upper two, we're kind of going ass backwards. And today we're doing upper one, which is like the very first workout of the week for me. That being said, the structure is quite similar. You have chest, you have back, you have shoulders, you have back shoulders. No arms this time. Six, 7, 8. Hey. 3, 2, 1. Shit. Bitch, boost. Oh. Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's it. That's done for the workout. We're done, skis. Yeah. Move the chair back to where it was. Gym responsibility is always clean after your mess. And then shower, head home, skedaddle. Yeah. That's it. That's for the workout. Let's move on.
All right, so we're done with the gym, and now let's talk about something very important. Building muscles is actually complicated. It's more than you think it is, but it makes it that's why it's so fun. You know, essentially, if you were to put, long story short, how to build muscles, most people probably would say, just go to the gym, work hard, and eat enough protein. And in a sense, that is exactly how it is. Like in the most simplistic terms of how do you build muscles. But let's dive deeper to what makes it actually more complicated and why is it so fun. So one of the things what makes building muscles complicated is that if you choose to stay natural, you're gonna have an exponential growth in the first 2 years of your lifting career. Well, I'm making it sound like it's where you get paid. Maybe you do get paid, and that's great for you. I applaud for that. But for someone who just wants to chase the aesthetics, after 2 years, your natural muscle building slows down when it starts to curve less steeper until you hit that plateau. And that's when it gets like really complicated, because you have to start learning about your own anatomy. How does your body function? Because genes play a huge part of your body, how you build muscles. Because as you go along, you start to understand that you need certain amount of nutritions into your body to build muscles. You need certain amount of proteins. Carbs are going to give you energy, and fat is going to help you with your intestines, with your liver, with your organs to function, to have that hormones on a stable level, especially in your brain. So everything can function together and build those muscles that you want. So it is complicated because you start learning, but that's where the fun is. When you start learning about yourself. You start learning about human anatomy. Like, you have a long bicep insertion, then you have short bicep insertion. You learn what's the difference between that. You have a high lat insertion, you have a low lat insertion, and then you have mid. And when you start learning those human muscle anatomy, you start kind of moving towards bodybuilding. Because naturally, you're gonna see what's aesthetic in the eyes of public. And you start looking for Mr. Olympia shows. You're gonna start looking for social media influencers. Well, not. Let me correct that. Fitness content creators, and see what kind of body type they have. Because you have endomorph and you have ectomorph. Correct me if I'm wrong. I might be saying those wrong and butchering them. I don't. Look, I'm not the most scientific or factual person when it comes to this. I'm just going based on what I have learned. But as you learn about human anatomy and the muscles, how they function, you start to understand the mind-muscle connection. Because for me, for the longest time, I've been lifting for good, I think 4 years now. A little bit over 4 years, going to my 4th year or my 5th, can't remember. I've had, off and on seasons. Quite embarrassing to say. Like on a previous video, I said that I didn't know how to flex my lats. I haven't been able to actually get those lat movements to feel it in my lats until recently. And that's the mind-muscle connection. Obviously you need to have that to build certain muscles. You need to do things properly to hit that muscle group so you can make it bigger. And so because of that, you start to learn, as you build muscles, you start to learn how to control your body on certain movements. Your body control gets better and your mind-muscle connection in that gets better. And so and it's, for some people, controlling your body or getting the mind-muscle connection is not easy. It's very hard. Because not everybody's naturally gifted where they're flexible, athletic, or they can just control any muscle in their body. So those are some of the aspects of what makes building muscles very, very hard, but it makes it fun. And as you learn the chemistry behind your body, as you learn the biology of your functions in your body and your organs, you start learning how to optimize diet. What kind of vitamins do you need to take, supplements, timing, You start learning that you need sleep to grow muscles. You start learning how to get your free test levels higher, how to basically live a healthier lifestyle that is optimized for building muscles. And it's a knowledge that accumulates throughout the years that you're lifting and learning more and more and more. So it's not that simple. Like, you can go into this and dive deep underneath the surface for all this information to optimize all these bodybuildings. Then you have different kinds of workout splits, what works best for you specifically, where you recover fast enough and you actually feel the hard work. It's quite fun to learn new information. Like, in a sense, you start becoming a doctor for your own body. You're gonna have trial and error, what works for you. Learn controlling your body. Learn about your bodily functions, organs, how they work. Learn your muscle groups and what kind of insertion you have. And then with that, you're gonna learn your genetic disadvantages and your advantages. Because some people might have that aesthetic low lat insertion or long bicep insertion that is aesthetically pleasing. But at the same time, you might have a high calf insertion that doesn't look that as aesthetic for your legs. So you start learning about your body and your genetics, where it comes from. Does it come from your mom? Does it come from your dad? And those are some of the things you'll have to accept. Those are things you cannot compromise with. You cannot change your insertion. You cannot change your shape of muscles. You cannot shape that maybe your left pec is just a little bit higher than your right pec. You cannot change that your hips are very, very wide, or your calluses. Is it calluses? No, calluses are these, right? Clavicles are very narrow. You cannot change that. Those come from your DNA. Now, of course, with bodybuilding and building muscles, you can work around them to make it look better. But these are all the process of learning how to build muscles. It is not easy. And that being said, eventually you're going to have to optimize the way you build your muscles, both lifestyles, habits, nutrition, supplements, dieting, workouts. You have to learn those. Those come as part of the journey, and it's a great journey. Don't focus on the end goal. Focus on the journey, learning it. Be open-minded. And then, if you ever feel like skip a few steps, I'm not the guy to listen to, and I don't have any of the answers for that. So therefore, go find somebody else to talk about it, or find the information, because there's a ton of it out there in the world of internet. That was pretty much it. So if you learn new things, great. If you didn't, well, it's a good repetition. You gotta sometimes have somebody to remind you of these things. But if you learn, that's great. Now, if you stayed all the way through the video, all the way to the end, I appreciate you. And even if you didn't, I still appreciate you. And I appreciate you watching this video. And I hope everybody's good. God bless you. And I'll see you next time, all right? Stay safe. Gang, gang.